Dr. Diamond sees many creative individuals, including members of the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild. Hello, Dr. Diamond. In the brief foreword to your book, Anger, Madness, and the Demonic, psychologist Rollo May defines the classic Greek conception of the daimonic, or darker side of our being, noting that, quote, the daimonic, unlike the demonic, which is merely destructive, is as much concerned with creativity as with negative reactions, unquote. You've said that, quote, creativity can be simplistically defined as the constructive expression of the daimonic. When the artist gives voice to his or her darkest impulses in his or her work, the destructive impact is minimized and the daimonic energy positively informs the work, unquote. There have been a number of actors who've shown a dark and violent side, including recently Christian Bale starring as Batman. You've mentioned some actors like Brando, Pacino, De Niro, and Daniel Day-Lewis. How are they examples of anger and the demonic?
Well, these are, I don't know any of these actors personally.
Sure.
Let me start by saying that. But clearly these are passionate people, passionate men in this case, who have access to their own rage. And generally speaking, I have studied creative artists at Berkeley. And one of the things that I found in looking at their lives, in almost every case, a very prominent artist, Jackson Pollock, Beethoven, who I'll talk about a little bit more, their novelist Richard Wright, Picasso. In almost every case, these are angry individuals. They have a great deal of anger and rage for various reasons based on the kinds of things that have happened to them in life or didn't happen to them in life. And yet they were able to utilize their rage and to some extent or another, and some more successfully than others, to really channel it into their creative work. And I think that's what we see in the film actors that you just named. And I don't know really anything about Christian Bale,
right?
But it certainly sounds like he's someone who has some of his own anger issues, if you will.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I did read something about him that he was prone to temper tantrums.
Uh-huh.
Has always been prone to temper tantrums, and so he is. He sounds like your prototypical temperamental artist. Literally, temperamental.
Yeah. So that really is a sign of being susceptible to anger in your personality.
Temper tantrums?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Sure.
I mean, clearly.
In my view anyway, temper tantrums are kind of an outburst, and they're kind of a mini possession by the demonic. The demonic, when we talk about the demonic, one of the things we're talking about is anger or rage. And by definition, the demonic has the power to take over the whole person and to possess the personality, at least temporarily. And that kind of possession can be quite destructive. Sometimes it can be actually creative. But it sounds like with Christian Bale, it sounds like his anger often maybe gets the best of him, comes out sometimes in inappropriate or immature ways. But that may also be what gives him an edge as an actor, or one of the things that gives him an edge.
Well, you've just referred to possession and have talked before about creativity or the creative process being kind of entering into a state of, quote, benevolent possession. You said it's a sort of trance. The artist allows herself or himself to be swept up in the raging torrent of primordial images, ideas, intuitions, and emotions emanating from the demonic or unconscious. So you're saying that this kind of material, that anger or rage, also lives in the same territory, so to speak?
Yeah, it is the same territory. The concept of the demonic is that anger and rage and creativity come from exactly the same place, the same source in the human psyche, and that actually Rollo May cited that source as being simply human potentiality.